Carrie. I'm back with a Jenofeve Design Team project for Jenofeve Designs. For this, I've used the Mini Everlasting mini album templates. I used the script template for this. For the papers, I used Heartfelt Creations Blushing Rose Collection, and I also used their matching dies for that. And I created a bridal book, so let me show you that. This is the album. Here's the book. Ooh, there's paper on my desk. This is the cover. I don't know if you can see it, but it's dimensional. The flowers are dimensional. Like I said, all of this is Heartfelt Creations paper. Little pearls in the flowers. I shaped and colored the flowers to sit on top of the paper. Underneath it, I added some of the lace that I picked up recently. A little button for a closure. This is the spine. I don't know if you can see that. I put the pearls on here. This is actually a strand of pearls. I left it on the little piece of plastic that runs through. I glued it down and then I cut what I didn't need off the ends, so that way I didn't have to line up every single pearl to glue them down. This has a different piece of lace on the back. I thought it was doubled, but it's not doubled. Has a different piece of lace on the back and then just the little pearls in the middle right there. And then this is the back. So it's the ending, right? Just married. In the beginning, it's kind of like the planner for the bride. So the idea was, there's a few ideas for this, but I thought it would make a really good gift for someone who is getting married, like for a bridal shower gift. But the other idea that I had was, if I were creating it for that purpose, I would probably make it really big with a lot of different flip spots and tuck spots so that she could actually use it to plan the wedding. And as we go through it, I'll show you what my ideas were for that. So this is the inside cover. I don't know if you can see, these are dimensional flowers here, and then there's some tags in there. I cut the tags out, and then I used the flowers to tuck the tags in, so that could be removed. This is a pocket. So if you were using this for a bride that was going to use the book to plan her wedding, all these different inserts could be used for different purposes, like phone numbers, seamstresses numbers, florist numbers, things like that, dates, appointments. You could go through and have a different section for each thing that she needs to plan. So I took the paper. It has this little scroll on it, and then I just script wrote Mr. and Mrs. on here. It says, "Enjoy life's beautiful moments." Can you see that? And then down here's the script. You can see the script. I thought that the bridal book was nice because from what I heard in one of Jennifer's videos was that she had taken a love letter that she wrote for her husband and used that to create that background. So there's some little pearls on here. And that's the back. You could write whatever you wanted on the back of it. That goes in here. Not every page is a pocket. This is a 4-page book that I created. So here, let me hold it up. These are dimensional. This is like an ivy die that Heartfelt Creations has. And I put a little rose cut out also on there, and I put some pearls on there. So these are the pockets. I wrote on here, you can see something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. And my idea was, you could actually attach, like, say a mother was giving this to her daughter and she was getting married, she could attach for something old, maybe a piece of a hem from her own wedding gown or her grandmother's wedding gown, and then she would have something old. She could attach something new that's significant to the bride onto this one. I just left the backs blank. Oh, the reason I left the backs blank was because I thought, you could write a note on here explaining where the piece came from, whatever it is that you attach to it. So, you know, on the back of that, you could write a piece from Nana's wedding gown or whatever. Something borrowed, you could put, there's another little picture of the bridal gown. You could put something that she could borrow for the day on there. And then something blue. Just, excuse me. Every time I go to film, for whatever reason, I lose my voice. So, you know, you could just attach something blue on here, but there's also blue on the paper, and write the note on the back. And then this is the background paper behind that I used to mat it. And then the next page, there's no tucks. There is a tuck spot here, but I didn't create anything to put in there. And then the next page is the double doors. And I created the flowers to be the closure. So this flower is separate from this one. So it just unhooks, that little swirl unhooks. And then I tucked a little card in there that says cherish. And then you could put a picture of them at their engagement party, or after the wedding. They could attach a picture of their wedding there. The beauty of life is meant to be shared. That's what that says. And then this flower matches this flower. Over here I use the little tags, I don't know what you would call them actually, but they're double-sided. So I cut the whole thing out, I bent them in half, and I glued them down. First I wrote the letters on there to spell cherish. You could write whatever's meaningful for the bride. I thought this would make an awesome picture frame. This is also from the paper collection. I use that paper collection exclusively for this. They are one of my favorite companies. Everything they have is quality. Another little tag, good times together. So this could be moved. It could be moved over to, it could be put on here or as the picture frame. Good times together with a picture of them. And then this is another little tuck spot. This has a magnet closure, memories for a lifetime. You open it. There's a couple cards in here. This card's actually on the paper itself. It says, best wishes to a wonderful person. You mean so much to me. So if you're giving it to your friend or whoever, that's like almost like a little note. You could sign it and write a note on there, or leave it for her to fill out. So that's that page. And then this page is a pocket here with a little insert, whatever you want to write on that, and the script. And these, some more little things that got tucked in there. Isn't their paper pretty? I love their paper. I'm a little addicted to their paper also. So then the background of this, the matting matches the envelope closure. And this is a magnet closure there. And then this is the last page. So for this is the only thing that I didn't use Heartfelt Creations. This pulls out and it says, happily ever after. I wrote that on there. This is a die that I have that is a two-sided die. So you have a choice. You can either cut part of the die into the paper and it becomes dimensional. I did glue the wing down because pulling it in and out, the wing was getting caught. So I glued that one wing down, but I left this one up so that the card could be tucked in there. It says, a gift of love. So that's that. And then on the back of this, I don't have any bridal napkins. So someone had asked me if napkins can be used the same way that I showed the tissue paper last book that I made. And it can be used, and that's what I'm going to show you today. I might use a different napkin, but you see what it looks like with the napkin on there. It's a little bit of a different process and a little bit of a different look. It's really pretty. I've used it in mixed media on several occasions, and it comes out beautiful. You can combine, you can cut pieces of napkins up and combine them like collage, and they mesh and go together just fantastic. It's really pretty. So then when you close the book, then it just says just married with a little butterfly. And again, some more of the flowers and the ivy and the yellow roses. And that's the book. So that's that. And now I'm going to head down to the art room, I think. Maybe I'll do it here. And I'm going to show you how the tissue paper is done. And this is, I shabbied it up, of course. I shabby everything up, but you could lay it straight down. You could even just lay partial in there. So I'll show you that. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay, so I've gathered everything that I need here, and what I'm using, well, this is just a scrap paper to lay down because I don't want to get stuff all over this. What I'm using is the mat. Already went ahead and inked that up. A tissue in any design that you love, and there are just so many brilliant designs out there. They're beautiful. So for this one, I took a more colorful one than I put into the book. Just imagine like the sky is the limit for these, because you could do a springtime book or an Easter book with this one. The other idea that I had was, because it's for a bride, if you have a foiling machine, you could foil their initials on there. You could foil Mr. and Mrs. You could foil congratulations. You could personalize it in any way that you wanted. You could use a white napkin or a colored napkin or however you want. And that could be put on here and tucked into the card to make it even more personal. So you need your mat, your napkin, a paintbrush, matte medium. This particular, I have this in a jar because I was teaching classes and the jar is huge. So I separated it into little mason jars. But this is golden, matte medium, and it is light. So they have like heavy, medium, and light. Personally, I like medium, but this is what I have right now. So I'll use that. I think you could probably even use Mod Podge. If you have Mod Podge, go ahead and play with it. Scissors, a heat tool if you want to dry it quickly. I have to for the video. And your ink, and that's it. So first things first, you'll see that the napkin it has multiple plies. So this one is a 3-ply napkin. You want to get it down to 1 ply. So go ahead and separate that. Now that you have it down to 1 ply, you just cut one of the squares out. For this album, you would cut one of the squares out because that's what fits. I'm also going to be cutting this down slightly because I'm not going to distress the edges. I'm just going to make it square. So cut outside of the size that you need. It's a little flimsy. Like I said, these make absolutely beautiful additions to any mixed media project because the background, according to how light this is, the background colors will come through. And when you're finished, you can paint on it, draw on it, ink it. You can do whatever you want with it. Okay. It's deceptively simple. You just put your matte medium on here, not too thick. It acts as the glue. You can also allow wrinkles if you want it textured because they kind of flatten out, but so you can't really literally see the wrinkle. It's just, it has a textured feel to it. That's another part that's nice for mixed media. So that's that. Now you take the napkin and you just gently lay it down. See, there's a couple wrinkles in there. I like it. I like the texture. And then when you're finished that, you go over it again with another light coat. Mod Podge is wetter than golden mediums. So if I were using Mod Podge, I would use a light hand. We all know when you get a napkin wet, it gets very fragile. If you wanted this glossy, you could use glossy medium and it would dry with a shine. Just like I said, you just can play with it. And that's it. It's done. So now I'll dry it and I'll trim it down and it will be finished. I'll be back with that in a minute. Okay, so this is all dry. Well, it's pretty dry. For the purpose of the video, I'm not gonna obsess over it. Yeah, I'm just gonna go around the edges, add a little bit more ink to give it a little bit of dimension. You can see mine is still a little flimsy because it's still just slightly damp. If you were using Mod Podge, the paper might tend to really like bend because it's wet. So once it's fully dry, if it's bent, just put it under something heavy for a couple days or whatever, and that should flatten it out. So there is the ink. I don't want to put too much on because I like the colors in this. And then on the other one that I did, I just used stickles. But like I said, you can use acrylics on this. You could even use stamps. Just play with it and see what it is that you want to do. I use stickles to give it a little bit of shine, and because the paper works really well with stickles, the Heartfelt Creations. So there's some orange in here, just a touch of orange. Go here. I wish that stickles dried dimensional, but it dries flat. I would like it if it was dimensional. So each place where I see orange, just going over a little bit here. And then this really makes, this looks really pretty. I like this napkin. So you go around like that. And then you could add pink. I don't think I have pink. I think I only have red. But there's also white in here, so you can go on with a little bit of white here and there. That will just give it shine. I find that stickles, the colors still come through, and I like that. Because I don't want all the colors covered up when I'm doing something. So you get the idea for that. I have a little bit of gold. Maybe go into the tan areas and add some gold. Oop. Not sure I like the gold too much. We'll add some green to the leaves so you can see that. And there. That's basically it. You get the idea. Have fun with it. Just play around. It looks really pretty when you add white tips of flowers also. So you have these tiny little flowers back here. And you just add a little bit of sparkle to it, and then it draws the person's eye to the flower. Here. A little here. So you go around and just keep adding it until you feel satisfied with the way that it looks, and then let it dry, flatten it out, and you have an insert card that looks like a piece of art actually. It's a shame I don't have pink. This would have looked really pretty if I went over it with pink. But you get the idea. I hope this gave you some ideas for a future book. The books are a lot of fun to put together. You just keep going and going with them, and the ideas are never ending. So, okay guys, have a good day. I'll see you next time.